Regarding this meeting, it'll be in interview format and will take approximately 20 to 25 minutes. I hope it's okay with you.
Perfect.
So I'll share my screen as and when required, and please consider that the questions that are asked, they will be on behalf of my age group, which is around 11 to 13 years old. So I wonder if you have any questions before we begin.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Thanks. So this is the agenda for today. It is mainly spread into 3 sections. In the first section, there'll be a set of questions asked, followed by a personality check in the middle, which is a fun activity and something for you to take away. And lastly, some suggestion and advice questions from you.
Okay.
So I hope you're as excited as I am. So let's begin.
Okay.
So just to begin with, could you please briefly describe what your role is professionally?
Oh, professionally, over the last 20, 30 years, I've been running factories. So factories that make things, normally things that you've got in your house, like books, notepads, but most importantly, things that your parents will have, like bank cards. Ooh.
So do you like your job? How do you feel about it?
Great fun. It's exciting because it's always something new, something different. And we're always trying to improve everything on the manufacturing side. So yeah, it's very exciting. And if you've got a little bit of plastic, you go and look at your dad's or your mum's credit cards, or even the gift cards that you've had maybe from Christmas. Then I used to make those as well.
Wow. That sounds interesting.
We even made them for Apple many years ago as well.
Ooh.
The iTunes cards.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you. So I can understand why you enjoy your job. So now I'm interested to know what hobbies you enjoy. Are there any in particular?
Ooh, the obvious one is Toastmasters, but you probably know all about Toastmasters from your dad. But also, I'm pretty mad on rugby. And I used to play when I was at school and play when I was a kid. And now I support one of the best rugby teams in the world.
Wow. That's
You ask me which one?
Yes, please.
Go on then. It's going to be Gloucester Rugby. Have you heard of them?
No.
Now that's your mission afterwards now, to go and look up Gloucester Rugby.
Sure, I'll do that.
And they're playing tomorrow, and they got a nickname, and the nickname is the Cherry and Whites, because they play in cherry red and white.
Oh, wow.
They're playing tomorrow, which is really exciting. But I can't go because there's a lock-in and there's no fans allowed. That's not so good. But I've got a Twitter account, and I tweet, and I've got 5,000 followers on the Twitter account. And the group that I belong to has got 500,000 followers. So all the clubs together in this group of friends, we've got 500,000 followers altogether. That's cool.
Wow. I'm also learning rugby. Well, in high school, when I move in September, I'll be learning rugby. I'm not a big fan of it, but it kind of takes my hopes up because we're also doing cricket. So I like cricket, and rugby I've done before. I like it, and I'm not that good.
No. So the question is, are you very fast or very strong?
I think I'm very fast and easy, so it's hard to get me. So like I'm very good at dodging. So I think
you've got to be playing in the backs, and you want to be a winger. That's your position, definitely.
Because strong is where you can pass far like that, but then quick, you need to be quick around. So I think I'm the one who goes quick around. I think that's what I'm at.
You could be a Johnny May. Have you heard of Johnny May?
Yeah.
He's an England player. He plays for our club, and he's playing tomorrow. And he's so fast, but he's going all different directions. And I said to one of his teammates, have you got any idea which way Johnny is going to go when he's playing? And he said, no, we got no idea. And he said, but then again, Johnny's got no idea what he's going to do next.
He just goes the way he wants to.
Absolutely.
Oh. I think those two, Toastmasters and rugby, I think both of them are brilliant.
They're very different. One's a team sport, one's individual and a team sport.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on to the next question. Is there a soft skill that you've gained and you're very glad to have gained?
Oh, have I got a soft skill? I think I've got a soft skill. Now, I've got a skill which is all about influencing people. So one of my skills is being able to persuade people to do things.
I think that's a very good one because then it's kind of like you have the power in your hand. You go like do this like that. So you go persuade and say maybe we can vote for this team, this maybe like that, or maybe we can do this production instead of this production like that. Then that's good because then you can change people's minds easily.
And I did a test, and they had a scale, and I was so high off the scale that the lady who was doing the test said she'd never seen anyone with such a high score in influencing people. How scary is that?
Yeah, thank you. So now I think persuasion, that's a very good thing. Like communication, persuasion is one part of it where it makes other people do what you want. And then communication, yeah.
But is it me doing what they want, or is it me encouraging them to do what they want to do?
I think it's part of both.
Because that's really interesting, because if you persuade someone to do something they don't want to do, then afterwards they feel a bit upset and angry. But if someone wants to do it, but they're a bit, maybe they need a bit of encouragement, a bit of support. And I've said to people, I reckon you'd be really good at doing that. And they went, do you reckon? And they go and do it, and they're brilliant. And they come back to me and say, thank you very much, because I wouldn't have taken that big step without your help.
Yeah.
And that's great when you see that happen.
Definitely. Thank you. I think persuasion is a very good skill to have. Definitely.
Agreed.
Thank you. So now, moving on, is there a skill that you really wished you had?
Yeah, there's a real skill I wish I had. I wish I had a good memory.
Me too. I don't really have a good memory.
I used to be forgetful, but what was I saying? No, I've got a really bad memory, and that's a real pain because I can't remember the detail. I can only remember the big picture, and I have to go and think, or ask somebody to get that piece of detail. I can never remember the detail.
Yeah, you can figure out the big, like, let's say there's a puzzle, you can figure out the big thing, not each piece. So like you can find out like, oh, there are two horses inside a stable, and then you can't find each piece. Oh, this is the tail, this is the legs. It's hard.
Yeah, I wish I had a good memory.
Me too. Thank you. So moving from skills to advice, has there been a time you were given a piece of advice and that you were very glad to have followed it?
Ooh, what piece of advice will I have? Yeah, probably. There was a managing director that used to work for me, and he always used to say to me, he never used to tell me to do anything. So when he wanted something done, he never said to me, do this, do that, do the other. What he always did was gave me a reason why I wanted to do it. So the piece of advice would be, if you want someone to do something,
first tell them why they chose that thing.
Give them a reason why they want to do it.
I think that's very good. So that's the first step in persuading. Yeah, thank you. So I think that's a very good one that you followed. Thank you. Well, moving on, this is still based on advice. So, has there been a piece of advice you've been given but you really wished you had followed?
Wish that I'd followed.
Yes, please.
The piece of advice that I was given that I'm glad I didn't follow.
Yeah.
The piece of advice many years ago, a manager made a decision. I was only 19, 20 years old.
Hmm.
And this decision he made was good. And then he found out some new information. And it was obvious that decision was wrong. So I said to him, "Are you going to change your decision?" And he said, "No, it's a sign of strength if you don't change your mind." And he told me not to change my mind when I made a decision. And I'm really glad I didn't follow that decision, because I think it's a sign of greater strength when you realize there's a better decision to be made, and then you can change your mind, but importantly, explain why.
So staying on one decision, I think that's
If it's a bad decision, change it, but explain why.
definitely. Thank you. So that was a different one. That I think that you're the first one who said that you were very glad not to have followed it.
Yeah. And that's the other thing I always do. I always think differently. I'm never thinking inside a box. Yeah, the box is this big. My box is.
So you go to the further extent of the box.
And my box hasn't got an inside and an outside. It's only got an outside.
Amazing.
Right, go on then.
So just before we move on to the second section, could you please try to describe yourself with 3 words?
Loud. Crazy.
Oh, okay.
And passionate.
So can you please explain why you use these 3 words? Is there any particular reason?
Loud, because I'm always talking. Yeah, I don't listen enough. Crazy, because I'm always looking at things differently. I always like a bit of fun. If we're going to be doing anything, let's have a bit of a laugh as well, shall we? So not taking everything too seriously. And passionate, because once I start doing something, I'm like a train driver. And you can't stop a train when it's going, yeah?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to stop a train. And when I get going on something, I build up steam, and then it's like, watch out, the train's coming.
So like you can't even stop it.
You can't stop me. One of my managers said to me many years ago, they said, I'm like a train driver. They said the only thing they can do is change the track. So if they want to turn me around, they can't stop me. They have to put the track like this and go around in a big circle and come back the other way.
Wow. Yeah. So now we will move on to the second section, which is the personality share. And I think, if you ask me, it's probably the most fun part in this whole lecture. So could you please try putting the following 5 animals in the order of your preference?
In order of preference, number 1, tiger. Number 2, cow. Number 3, horse. Number 4, pig. Number 5, sheep.
Sorry, could you please repeat that?
Tiger.
Yes.
Cow. Horse.
Yes.
Pig. Sheep.
Thank you. So now this will tell you what your priorities are in your life. Yes. So because you said tiger first, your first priority in your life is your pride, passion, and then your job, then your family, then money, and then love. Yeah.
Oh, love last. Pride, career, family, money, love. Could be.
Just a small prediction I have created based on the order you chose it. Of the other 90-ish people I have interviewed. 92 people have been to it. So, yeah. Okay.
And have other people said the same thing?
Well, not same thing. So they said stuff similar to it. So based on all their answers, I've kind of created this.
Good.
Yeah.
It's definitely tiger first though, by a mile.
Well, yeah, tiger. It's faster than the cow, so it'll be a mile further. Okay. So now we'll move on to the next one. So can you please try to describe each one of the following with a word, please?
Share one word that describes each one of the following. Dog. Slobbering.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Cat is going to be faithful.
Mm-hmm. How about rat, please?
Rat is going to be talking.
Thank you. How about the C, please?
Happiness.
Thank you. So now each one tells personalities. Yes. So the dog, which you said slobbering, that's yourself. Your partner is faithful. Your enemies
Okay.
are talkative. And your life is happiness.
Wow.
I like the first one though.
I'm not sure about dogs though.
Yeah.
I got chased by a dog and I got bit by a dog, so
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of dogs.
Yeah. But I think they're a fan of you.
No, they don't like me, apart from eating me.
Okay. So we have now finished the second section of this interview. So now we'll move on to the third section, the suggestion and advice section. So from your personal experience, if you'd like to give a piece of advice to children, what advice do you think you should give to them that they should follow?
I would say always believe in yourself.
Yeah, self-belief.
Always believe in yourself.
Can you please explain why you
Because so many people try to behave as other people expect them to behave. They always try and please other people. They always try and do things, to be liked, to be conforming, to be whatever. Just be yourself. Trust in your own ability. Trust in your own decisions. If you think it's right, it's right. Don't be changed to do things that are wrong by other people.
Definitely, yeah.
So believe in yourself.
Definitely. I think that's a good one, that you should always believe in yourself, because then there's no one that can, so then no one has to self-motivate you because you're already self-motivated. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. So following on, is there a piece of advice you should give to children that they shouldn't do?
Yeah. Never be nasty to somebody else.
So could you please explain why you should never be nasty?
Because when I was little, I was always bullied, and my son has been bullied at school. And these people, all they're interested in is pushing you down so they can rise up. What they should do is climb up higher themselves.
Instead of pushing other people down, because they can't push everyone down.
You come to the top by climbing to the top. You don't come to the top by standing on other people.
Sure, like if they're, let's say, 100 contestants, you can't push all 100 contestants down. The most you can do, which is going to be better and less energetic energy, is just climb up yourself. Don't do anything to any others.
If you're always pushing ahead and you're always reaching for the next stage, the best, and you're always trying to improve, then everyone else has got to try and catch up with you. if you spend your time pushing other people down, then other people are getting ahead of you all the time. So it's a important part to be strong and to focus on yourself.
Definitely.
How's that?
Now, yeah. So thank you for all your answers. We have now completed the third section of this interview. So if you want, should I ask you some bonus questions as well?
Go on then.
Cool. So have you done something before that had got you into trouble? If so, can you please tell me a time?
What got me into trouble?
Yes, please.
What's got me into trouble? I don't know, because nothing ever gets me into trouble, because if something goes wrong, I always look at it as a challenge. So everything that happens like that, I always look on the positive side of it. And it's like, if something goes wrong, then it goes wrong. So if it has got me into trouble, I'd only say the things that I do, sometimes I actually get myself injured, or I break a bone, or I do something because maybe I'm just being a bit too brave. When I was a little child, I had a little trike and I would just go flat out down the hill. I went over this thing and I broke my collarbone because my mum said I was always just going too far.
Ouch.
Yeah, it was ouch, actually. And I broke my collarbone 5 times.
What?
Left, right, left, left, right.
Wow. They did have an adventurous time.
And the last time I broke it was playing rugby. And I went to the hospital. I told the doctor I'd broken my collarbone. And he went, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he took the x-ray and he came back to me and he said, have you broken that collarbone before? And I said, yes. He said, how many times? And I said, twice. And he said, well, there's 3 marks on there, so you've broken it again. And I said, yeah, I told you that. So, yeah.
Wow, you broke your collarbone 5 times. That's a lot. I think, you see, the singer, yes, it's kind of different with all this, because I was in the door, like literally, the top flesh came out, so you could see the bone inside. So then I had to go to the hospital emergency.
My son did that yesterday. No, the day before yesterday.
Oh.
He did the same thing. And he's got his hand, he's got bandages on all 4 fingers at the moment. And this one's the worst one because it caught in a machine in the garage.
Oh.
So,
wow. You guys aren't really having a good time.
No. And my other big daughter got knocked off her bike 3 weeks ago. Scary, huh?
Wow.
And she's a teacher.
Wow.
How'd you like it if your teacher got knocked off her bike?
I feel weird.
Not good, eh? Not good.
So I guess you wouldn't be able to teach for the day. Or...
No, she's a bit bruised, but she was very, very lucky because the car hit the bike and knocked her off. But luckily, she wasn't badly injured. But very scary.
Yeah, I can feel it. Like, my sister's also bashed into a car. So there was a car. Yeah. So she's 7 years old. Yeah. So the car was going. He stopped because my sister was on the road. She was going. She hit the car, and then she fell off. So yeah.
Not good. Not good.
She injured herself badly.
Was she okay?
Yeah. She's okay. After Thank you. So now, just for the second bonus question, could you please share a word that you would use to describe my dad with?
Ooh, just a word to describe your dad?
Yes, please.
Excited.
Thank you. So why would you use that?
When he comes on, he's always very excited. Yeah, he's always very excited about what he's doing and wants to talk about it. And he's very he never comes in and talks like this. He always comes in like this. He's always got energy. So the word I use, excited.
Thank you. So now moving on to the last bonus question. It's related to the first one. So have you done something that you did and you didn't get into trouble for? Maybe because you kept it a secret?
What is it? I didn't. No, not really. No, oh, these are difficult ones because I never think. I haven't got a very good memory, so I never tend to remember these things that I did wrong because it's just sort of like they happen and I forget them. I think that's one good thing that I've got. I can, if something happens that is bad, I just go and park it. So, and
And then once it's parked, it just vanishes.
there's one thing I did that there was a car a few years ago, and it was driving stupid. So I peeped my horn and I wasn't road rage, but a little bit of whatever. And he opened the window and she shouted at me, and I shouted back at him. Then I drove off. Then he followed me, and he followed me whichever way I went. He followed. My wife was in the car, and he followed me, and he followed me, and he followed me. I didn't want to go home. I didn't want him to know where I lived. It wasn't far from my house. And he followed me, and he followed me, and he followed me. And what do you do when someone's following you? Yeah, in a car. I didn't know who was in the car. Didn't know how many people were in the car. Didn't know what he intended to do.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, I drove to a police station. And I drove into the police station and I parked outside the front of the police station, and I saw his car go past and disappear.
Wow.
So I did something, right? My wife says to me, don't hoot the horn, don't get involved, leave them alone, don't say anything. I did say something. I wish I hadn't, but I found a way out of it by going to the police station.
It really was like, I did nothing to do with it.
And now I've got a dash cam in my car so I can record what happened.
Oof.
That's a good idea.
So yeah. So thank you for all your answers. We have now completed the bonus questions as well. So just to conclude, could I please request you one thing that you have liked about this interview?
I've liked the way that you've listened to my answer, understood it, and then made a comment really intelligently about what I've said.
Thank you.
So you haven't just gone yes and recorded it. You've actually thought about it, understood it, and came back with a really sensible comment or observation. And that's pretty clever at 11 years old.
Thank you. And just for the scope of improvement, if I had to change something, what do you think I should change?
Oh, that's easy.
What?
I think you should speak a little bit slower.
Yeah, you need to be slower. Yeah.
How many times have you been told that?
I think in my interview 2-3 times, but my parents tell that to me every day.
I always speak too fast.
And it's not really in my control. I just talk.
Yes, it's totally in your control.
It's hard.
Now that's true, but it's also totally in your control. If you want to speak slower, you will. The only thing stopping you is you deciding you want to speak slower.
Yeah.
So you decide how badly do you want to stop speaking fast. I speak a lot slower than I used to. And everyone says to me, you're so easy to understand now because you're speaking slower. And I'm like, really? I didn't realize the impact. But everyone notices it now and says, and Toastmasters has made me speak slower.
Yeah.
It's incredible. That's my piece of advice. Speak just a little bit slower.
Yeah. So thank you for all your time today. And just for a token of appreciation, I would like to present you with this certificate for taking part in my interview project. So here it is.
That's fantastic.
I'll email it to you, yeah?
That's brilliant. You've been fantastic. You've been absolute gem. And I think, with your permission,
yes,
am I allowed to talk about you at Toastmasters about this interview?
Yeah, sure.
Because maybe when I go to my club next week, I might talk about this person that I know that's going to be an absolute star in the future. So I'm going to talk to my club about you. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Sounds like a great
I won't mind getting famous.
You've got to be famous for the right reason, though.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
It's been great talking to you. You've done a great job. Well done. And it's a great project. You've been great.
Thank you. So I hope I can see you
Okay.
later.